I'll never forget the date. March 15th, my wife Sarah's 32nd birthday. I had spent weeks planning the perfect surprise party. I left work early that afternoon, picked up the custom cake from that fancy bakery downtown in Chicago, and headed home with a trunk full of decorations and her favorite wine. The house was supposed to be empty. Sarah had texted me around noon saying she was going to spend the afternoon at the spa with her sister, getting pampered before the small dinner I had told her we'd be having. Just the two of us, or so she thought. In reality, I had 30 people ready to jump out and yell surprise at 7 o'clock sharp. But I got home at 3:30 instead of 5 like I'd planned. The project meeting got canceled, and I figured I'd use the extra time to set up early, maybe even take a nap before the chaos of the party. I pulled into our driveway in the suburbs, noting Sarah's car parked where it always was. Weird. Maybe she came back early to change. I grabbed the cake in my briefcase, balancing both as I unlocked the front door. The house was quiet. Too quiet. No TV humming, no music playing, but I heard something. A creak from upstairs. Then a laugh. Sarah's laugh. And then another voice. Deep. Male. Definitely not her sister. My heart started pounding in my chest. My hands went cold. I set the cake down on the entry table, moving on autopilot now, and walked toward the stairs. Each step felt like I was walking through concrete. The voices got clearer. They were coming from our bedroom. God, I've missed this, the male voice said. Me too, Sarah replied, breathless. We should have done this months ago. I stood outside our bedroom door. It was open just a crack, just enough for me to see inside. There they were, my wife of 6 years, in our bed. The bed we'd picked out together at that furniture store, the one where we joked about how we'd spend the rest of our lives in it. She was tangled up with him, some guy I'd never seen before in my life. Tall, muscular, the kind of guy who probably peaked in high school and never let it go. They didn't notice me. They were too wrapped up in each other, too lost in whatever the hell this was. I should have stormed in, should have yelled, should have thrown him out and demanded answers right then and there. But I didn't. Instead, I pulled out my phone and took 3 pictures. Clear ones. Unmistakable ones. Then I backed away slowly, my heart hammering so hard I thought they might hear it. I went back downstairs, grabbed the cake and left the house as quietly as I'd entered. Got in my car and just sat there in the driveway, staring at nothing. My hands were shaking. My whole body was shaking. 30 minutes later, my phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. Just finished at the spa. Be home in 20. Can't wait for our dinner tonight. The spa. Right. She'd been at the spa all afternoon. I texted back, sounds great. Love you. The words tasted like poison in my mouth, even through text. I drove around aimlessly for the next hour, ending up at a park near our house. I sat on a bench and stared at those pictures on my phone. Each one was a knife to the gut. How long had this been going on? Who was this guy? Had our entire marriage been a lie? Then I saw something in one of the photos I hadn't noticed before. On our nightstand, barely visible in the background, was a picture of us from our honeymoon in Hawaii. We looked so happy, so in love, so stupid. That's when something shifted inside me. The hurt started hardening into something else. Something colder. I wasn't just going to let this go. I wasn't going to be the pathetic husband who got cheated on and did nothing about it. I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of a clean break where she got to play the victim or rewrite our history. No, if Sarah wanted to destroy what we had, I'd make damn sure the whole world knew exactly who destroyed it and how. I started making phone calls. First, I canceled the surprise party, telling everyone there was a family emergency. Then I called my buddy Marcus, a divorce attorney who owed me a favor. I need to see you first thing tomorrow morning, I told him, and I need you to tell me everything about how to protect myself. By the time I pulled back into the driveway 2 hours later, the sun was starting to set. Sarah's car was still there. The house lights were on. She was probably inside, showered and changed, pretending this was just a normal Tuesday, just another birthday. I grabbed the cake from the passenger seat. The pink frosting roses had gotten a little smudged from sitting in the car, but it still looked decent enough. I took a deep breath and walked inside. There you are, Sarah called from the kitchen. She came around the corner wearing the blue dress I'd bought her last month. She looked beautiful. She always looked beautiful. I was starting to worry. Did you get stuck in traffic? I held up the cake and forced a smile. Picked this up for you. Happy birthday, babe. She kissed me on the cheek. Her perfume was different, not the one she usually wore, probably washed off the scent of him. You're so sweet, she said, taking the cake. Should we have some now or wait until after dinner? I watched her move around our kitchen, pulling out plates and forks, humming to herself, acting like everything was normal, like she hadn't spent the afternoon screwing some random guy in our bed. Let's wait, I said quietly. I've got something special planned first. She turned and smiled at me. Oh yeah? What's that? I smiled back, and this time it wasn't forced, because now I had a plan. A beautiful, terrible plan that would make sure Sarah regretted ever crossing me. "You'll see," I said. "Trust me, you're going to remember this birthday for the rest of your life." 3 weeks. That's how long I played the perfect husband while plotting her downfall. 3 weeks of kissing her goodnight, making small talk over breakfast, pretending everything was fine. 3 weeks of gathering information while my lawyer prepared the divorce papers in secret. I found out his name was Derek, her high school boyfriend, the one she always said was just a friend when his name came up. They'd reconnected on social media 6 months ago. 6 months of lies while I worked 60-hour weeks to pay for our life, our house, our future. Marcus, my attorney, had been clear. Document everything, but don't tip your hand. The best revenge is living well and taking what's yours legally. But I didn't want legal revenge. I wanted her to feel the humiliation I felt. I wanted everyone who knew us to see exactly who she really was. The opportunity came when Sarah told me she was going to a work conference in Milwaukee for the weekend. I smiled and kissed her goodbye, wished her a safe trip. Then I checked her laptop while she was in the shower the night before she left. Idiot didn't even log out of her email. There it was, a hotel reservation confirmation. But it wasn't for Milwaukee. It was for a boutique hotel right here in Chicago, downtown. Reservation for 2 under Derek's name. Perfect. I called Derek's number. I'd found it in Sarah's phone weeks ago and saved it under a fake name in mine. He answered on the 3rd ring. "Hello?" I disguised my voice slightly, made it more casual. "Hey man, this is Tom from the River North Hotel. We've got a reservation under your name for this weekend, and there's been a mix-up with the room. Could I verify some details?" He fell for it completely, confirmed the reservation, the dates, even mentioned he was bringing someone special. I thanked him and hung up. Friday came. Sarah left for her conference at noon, suitcase in hand, telling me she loved me. I waited 2 hours, then I made my move. I drove downtown to the hotel, booked a room on the same floor as theirs. I'd called ahead pretending to be Derek, asking what floor he was on because he wanted a specific view. Hotels are surprisingly easy to manipulate when you sound confident enough. I spent Friday night in my room, waiting. Saturday afternoon, I texted Derek's phone from a burner. "Hey, it's Jake from the gym. You left your watch in the locker room. I'll be at Murphy's bar around 7 if you want to grab it." At 6:45, I positioned myself in the hotel lobby with a clear view of the elevators. Sure enough, at 6:55, Derek came down alone, dressed casually, clearly heading out. The idiot actually fell for it. I gave him 5 minutes to get clear of the building, then I went up to their floor. I knocked on the room door. "Forget something," Sarah's voice called out, laughing. She opened the door in a hotel robe, her hair wet from the shower, expecting Derek. Instead, she found me. The color drained from her face. "Michael, what are you?" "Surprise," I said flatly. "Can I come in, or should we have this conversation in the hallway?" She stepped back, speechless. I walked in and looked around. Rose petals on the bed, champagne on ice, real romantic. "How did you?" she started. "Your birthday," I said. "I came home early with your cake and found you with him in our bed." "I've known for 3 weeks, Sarah." She sat down on the edge of the bed, her hands shaking. "Michael, please, I can explain." "Don't," I cut her off. "I don't want your explanations. I don't want your excuses. I want you to know that I know, and I want you to know what happens next." "What do you mean?" Her voice was barely a whisper. I pulled out my phone and showed her the pictures from that day. Her face went white. "Divorce papers are being filed Monday morning. You'll be served at your actual office, not your fake conference. Your parents will receive copies. So will Derek's wife." "His what?" Sarah's eyes went wide. "Oh, you didn't know?" I smiled coldly. "Derek's married. Has been for 4 years. His wife Jennifer is lovely. We had coffee yesterday. Showed her everything. She's filing for divorce too." Sarah started crying, but I felt nothing. The woman sobbing in front of me wasn't my wife anymore. She was a stranger who destroyed 6 years of my life. "There's more," I continued. "Remember that joint credit card? I've documented every hotel visit, every dinner, every gift you bought him with our money. My lawyer says that's going to look really bad in court." "You can't do this," she whispered. "I already have." I headed for the door, then stopped. "Oh, and one more thing. That promotion you were so excited about? I had lunch with your boss last week. Turns out company policy is pretty strict about extramarital affairs, especially when they involve lying about work trips. He said he'd look into it. Good luck with that." I left her there, sobbing in that hotel room, surrounded by rose petals and lies. I drove back home, packed her things into boxes, and left them in the garage. Changed the locks, slept in our bed alone for the first time in 6 years, and honestly, I slept better than I had in months. Monday morning, the posts started appearing. Not from me directly, I was smarter than that. But Jennifer, Derek's wife, she was hurt and angry, and had every right to be. She posted screenshots of Derek and Sarah's messages on social media, tagged them both, tagged their families, their friends, their employers. The internet did what the internet does best. It spread like wildfire. By Monday afternoon, my phone was blowing up. Sarah's mother called me crying, apologizing for her daughter. Our mutual friends were reaching out, asking if I was okay, telling me they'd suspected something was off. Sarah's work friends were messaging me privately, offering support. Sarah tried calling me 47 times that day. I didn't answer once. She showed up at the house Tuesday evening, but the locks were changed. She banged on the door, begging me to let her in, to talk, to explain. I watched through the window as she finally broke down on the front steps. Then I closed the curtains and went back to watching TV. The divorce was finalized 4 months later. I got the house, the car, and most of our savings. Sarah had to split her retirement account with me. She lost her promotion and eventually quit her job because everyone knew what she'd done. Derek's wife took him for everything in their divorce too. Last I heard, Derek and Sarah tried to make it work for about 6 weeks before they realized they had nothing in common except mutual destruction. Me, I sold the house a year later. Too many bad memories. Moved to a downtown loft, started hitting the gym, focused on my career, got that promotion I'd been chasing, started dating again, taking my time, being careful. Sometimes at night I think about that moment when Sarah opened the hotel room door expecting Derek and found me instead. The look on her face, the realization that her entire world was about to collapse, and I smile, because she wanted to have her cake and eat it too. She wanted the stability of marriage and the excitement of an affair. She wanted to keep me in the dark while she lived her double life. She thought she was smart enough to get away with it. But in the end, the person who got everything they wanted was me. I got my freedom, I got my dignity back, and I got to watch her lose everything she'd taken for granted. People say living well is the best revenge. But honestly, sometimes the best revenge is making sure everyone knows exactly who wronged you and watching them face the consequences of their choices. Sarah made her choice that day in our bed, and I made mine when I decided not to suffer in silence. Some people might say I went too far, that I was cruel, that I should have taken the high road. But you know what? When someone betrays you in your own home, on what's supposed to be a day of celebration, while you're out buying them a birthday cake, the high road can wait. Justice, real justice, is making sure that the person who hurt you understands the full weight of what they've done, not just to you, but to themselves. And 3 years later, I can honestly say I have no regrets, not a single one. If you love this story of revenge and justice, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more true stories like this. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss when someone gets exactly what they deserve. Drop a comment below and let me know, did I go too far, or did Sarah get what was coming to her? I read every single comment. See you in the next story.